All right, here we are setting up the steering on a Goldhofer, a G&G Specialized Carriers. On our Goldhofer, we put a new plug on there that gives constant power to the steering of this. We did this because we were having issues when we first got the trailer. It's a 2-prong. Every one of our trucks has this plug on it. We plug that in, and that'll give power to all the hydraulics and steering on this Goldhofer trailer. Without that plugged in, nothing with the hydraulics will work on this trailer. You will not be able to get the neck to go up and down. You will not make the steering work or anything. So, when you hook up to this, you gotta hook up that power line before you can even lift or lower the neck. So you gotta back up close to the trailer, plug that in, start the engine, come over here and press this yellow button right here. That yellow button activates the hydraulics. This is all the hydraulics right here. If that yellow button is not pressed, or if it's not illuminated, none of this will work. Okay? This switch right here makes the neck go up and down. Alright? This switch right here works one of these rams for taking off the RGM. The other one does the same thing, just on the other ram. Alright. Next is steering. Right a couple inches over is one of the switches for steering, and one of the handles for the steering. And on the back side is another one. Steers it the opposite direction. Now, if I hit this switch, one of them, the steering is not working. Okay? That is because this switch has to be turned to the center. And you've got to hold down EYL 21. I don't have enough hands to do this, but you hold down EYL 21. Come over here, hold on to one of these handles. Hold that down, and the tires steer. See it back there. Alright, so it's not working right because I don't have 3 hands. So you gotta hold that down, and go to the other one, and we'll steer the opposite. Now you can see that they are turned a little bit the other way. So in order to set up the steering now, you know how to do that. Now you got to get the turntable or top hat lined up before you can line up the rear. You got to get that arrow and that other arrow lined up. There's also this sensor right here. And when it's not lined up, this orange light on top will not be illuminated. When that is illuminated, that means that is lined up. First, you gotta tighten this wedge in here. When that wedge is tight, you put the lock ring back on so that can't back off. When that wedge is tight, you're not gonna be able to steer that top hat anymore. So you're gonna have to get in the truck and pull forward and turn left or right, whatever direction you gotta go to get that arrow lined up with the other arrow. When those are lined up, that orange light will come on that sensor like I said before. this green light will be illuminated as well. In order for the lights, yeah, that green light will be lit up on the top. Okay? This bottom light will show if you're lined up in the rear. There's also a green light right here next to this yellow button that was pressed before. This green light will illuminate when the rear is lined up. Okay? Now, in order to line up the rear, you have the wedge locked into the fifth wheel. And you've got the turntable in the front lined up. You already got it lined up. Now, you just go and steer it like you would normally steer it. You hit EYL 21, hold that down. You hit one of these two levers, whichever direction you gotta go. I gotta put the phone down in order to do it. I just bumped it in a certain direction. That light is lit up. That bottom green light is lit up. And also the top light is lit up. So right now we're lined up. But you're not done yet. Okay? Now you gotta equalize the pressures. All four of these are the pressures for your steering. After that's all lined up, you got to set the pressures so they're all equal. You got to come out here, go to EYL 19, hit the switch to the right. You're going to hold down EYL 21 and EYL 55 at the same time. Push them both in. Now all these pressures are lined up. Now, when you do that though, that might knock your steering out of alignment and you have to go line it up again and do the process over again. As you can see, both my lights went out. Now the front one shouldn't have went out. The only reason that would go out is because I don't have that wedge completely tight in there and that moved on me. Okay? You don't want that to happen. So you would have to, if that happens to you, you gotta go back and tighten that wedge some more. Straighten that out and tighten that wedge. Okay? Alright, now I got back to it. I got the steerings lined up. Lights are green. Now I gotta relieve the pressures because the pressures will not be good. They're all off. Now I gotta hit this EYL 19 to the right. Hold these two buttons in. And that lines up these pressures. Looking at the steering. Everything looks like it's good to go. Okay. You might have to keep playing with that back and forth in order to get those pressures lined up and keeping your steering line locked in, lined up. If you keep on having issues, it's probably because your wedge is loose in the fifth wheel. Make sure you tighten that. Okay, I'm back. Now that you have everything lined up, you're ready to go down the road. You gotta hit this switch back into the 0 position. You gotta hit this switch back to the 0 position, which is all the way to the left. This is going down the road. Okay? The switch in the middle is for using your steering. All the way to the right is nothing with the way our trailer is set up. Okay? So make sure those switches are in that direction. Turn the engine off and go down the road. But I'm not done now. I want to show you how to relieve all the pressure completely from the hydraulic system for when you stretch the trailer. When you stretch the trailer, you got to have all the hydraulic pressure released. It'll make stretching the trailer much easier, and if you don't have it released, you are not going to be able to stretch a trailer, most likely. So, you need to have a switch in the middle position, EYL 19 to the right, and you're gonna hold down EYL 21, I believe. I'm gonna have to put the phone down. You gotta open this gate back up and hit one of these steering switches. And that relieves all the pressure. If it does not, you keep playing with it. Alright, I had to go back and figure out how to do that, how to relieve the pressure. I was doing it wrong. Okay, so you gotta have that switch in the middle, EYL 19 to the right, hold down EYL 55 and EYL 21. And over here, hold on one of the steering switches, and that relieves all the pressure. That's how you relieve the pressure in order to stretch this trailer. And at this point for this video, that's all I want this video to be at the moment. I can make other ones later, but I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is, because it's already too long and complicated. So hopefully it works. If not, you can call me, text me, whatever. Talk to you.